Today we're diving into Hollowbody on PS5, a modern survival horror with a retro soul, built almost entirely by one incredibly talented solo developer. And honestly, that backstory makes the whole experience even more fascinating. Hollowbody comes from Nathan Hamley, the one-man force behind Headwear Games. If the name rings a bell, he's the guy behind Chasing Static and Guard Duty. After years of tinkering with Half-Life mods, Dark Basic and point-and-click engines, he finally took the plunge into a full 3D survival horror, the genre he grew up loving. This game is basically Hamley's love letter to Silent Hill, Kuon, Haunting Ground and those early 2000s horror classics with fixed cameras, chunky atmospheres and puzzles that make you question your life choices. He kickstarted the project, moved to Bristol, soaked up the city's technoir vibe and built the entire thing himself, writing, coding, designing, animating, the lot. And that solo dev DNA is baked into every corner of Hollowbody. On PS5, Hollowbody gives you something I really appreciated: choice. You can play with a classic fixed camera setup for that old school tension, or you can switch to a modern player controlled camera if you want something more contemporary. It makes the game far more accessible than the titles it draws inspiration from, which is a good thing. You also get two difficulty modes: casual, which smooths out the frustration of retro survival horror, and the intended developer difficulty, which is tougher and more in line with the classics. It's a smart way to welcome newcomers without actually betraying the genre's roots. Now let's talk jank, because yes, there's some jank here. Loading screens can take a while, some animations wobble a bit, and the UI for selecting controls is a bit hit and miss. You'll get there eventually, but it's not always intuitive. I also found some puzzles pretty obtuse. There's one combination lock for a personal safe that had me questioning whether I'd missed a clue or just needed divine intervention. But honestly, that's part of the charm, right? Perseverance is often rewarded far more than logic. My biggest frustration though was interacting with items. Sometimes you're not sure what's actually selectable and you end up triggering prompts by accident or not being able to find the items on the screen that you wish to prompt. A highlight system would have gone a long way, but despite those rough edges, Hollowbody absolutely nails that atmosphere. The British setting is refreshing and the world feels lived in. The story had me thinking of like The Last of Us, Silent Hill and Resident Evil all at once. It's moody, grounded and surprisingly emotional. You know what, Hollowbody isn't perfect, but it is a thoroughly enjoyable slice of survival horror from a clearly gifted solo developer. For me, from Games Freezer, it's a solid 7 out of 10 cool rating. And I'd love to see what Nathan could do with a bigger team behind him one day. Check it out if you love atmospheric horror with heart and a little bit of jank. Goodbye, my friends.